Alright guys, Instapot adventures for the day. Now, I'm not using my Instapot to cook everything today because I'm going to be making fried chicken tenders, like basically Chick-fil-A. I'm going to use Chick-fil-A's recipe. And I'm going to make corn, like sweet southern creamy corn with milk, like sweet corn. And I'm going to use these that are pretty much already cooked. I just have to warm them up. And I'm going to make mashed potatoes. So all I'm really going to do in the Instapot is the mashed potatoes. But you will need, for 4 pounds of mashed potatoes, you need 1.5 cups of water, or chicken stock, beef stock, whatever you want. And you put this in the bottom, you put a wire rack in the bottom, and then you put your potatoes in, you turn it on to pressure cook for 20 minutes, and you're done. So, I mean, it takes 20 minutes to warm up the water on the stove. And I need that burner because it's the best burner. We all know the front right is the best burner. So now I don't have to use it. Stop. Okay, so I have my... I should probably just shoot it. Alexa, stop. So I don't know if you guys know that I'm super inclusive and I love everyone, but my kids are super obsessed with Chick-fil-A. We used to go every single Friday. We called it Chick-fil-A Fridays. It's amazing. Chick-fil-A does like kids eat free on Fridays, and they had like clowns and like balloon animals, and they made it fucking fun. And my kids needed socialization, so we would go every single Friday. But then Chick-fil-A was like, we're not too cool with gay people. And I was like, well, in that case, I'm not too cool with you, Chick-fil-A. But my kids with autism totally did not understand why we could not go back to Chick-fil-A. So I found out how to make Chick-fil-A's. I went online, I found a recipe, a copycat recipe on how to make Chick-fil-A. So we called it Chick-fil-Gays, and we made it for like 6 weeks every Friday night until they were like, okay, we're okay with gay people now. And I still don't know if they really are, because I know how Mormons feel, because I was raised by Mormons, but like, bitches, be inclusive. That's my message for the day. Let's just include everyone. So I'm about to teach y'all how Chick-fil-A makes their... So to make the Chick-fil-A chicken, you will need pickle juice. I like to use Mount Olive kosher dill. I did not have Mount Olive kosher dill, but I did have Mount Olive dill salad cubes. So that's what I used. You need to like get your chicken in this pickle juice mixture as soon as possible. You want to, if you can do it overnight, do it overnight. If you can't do it overnight, at least 20 or 30 minutes. You want as much of that to get in there as possible. And then you will also need 2 cups of cake flour, not regular flour, cake flour. It's the stuff they make wedding cakes out of. It's finer. That's one of the secrets. That's one of the secrets. And then this is the third secret. For 2 cups of this, you will need 1/4 cup of this. You mix it all up. I also throw in a little bit of breadcrumbs and a little bit of Lowry's, just because that's what I do when I fry chicken. And I'm also going to make the chicken tikka masala tonight because I only used 2/3 of it for this. And I'm going to go ahead and cook this up tonight. So tomorrow I just have to make the rice and the sides. So now that your chicken is marinated, make your mixture. Underneath here, I have 2 cups of cake flour. Then I have about 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, and maybe 1/8 cup of seasoning salt. But I'm not going to take this and put it into here. I'm going to put this into here. And then I'm going to drop these in slowly, and I'm going to shake them all up in there. Because that is how you bread fried chicken. Now let me see if I can do this with one hand. So you take your chicken, you pick it up with your fork, you shake off, you know, whatever. You don't need to shake it all off. It doesn't matter. You drop it in here. Now, what I've done is I told you I put my flour in here. And then you just fold it up like so. Shake it. 1 or 2 and you're good. Should be fully coated now. And grab it. See? Maybe not fully. There. Now that I have this breaded, now I've got my oil on the stove. Now, how do you know if your oil is hot enough to fry chicken? Because it's hotter than it is to, say, saute vegetables. You can just take a little thing with water and just flick the water. And if it sizzles like that, that means it's ready. You don't even have to get that close to it. See, it'll tell you. The oil will talk to you. So now I have these guys that are already breaded. And you don't want to cook more than 3 or 4 in there at a time. So I'm going to bring these guys over here. And this is also very important. When you're doing this, you want to make sure your pan is behind so nobody can run by and knock it off. And you want to have paper towels right here as soon as they're done to put them into. And you just want to slide them into this oil. They're going to need about 1.5 minutes to cook on each side. Not more than that. You don't want to cook them for too long, but you want to make sure they're cooked thoroughly. I may burn a few of them in the process of trying to make sure that they're cooked through. I have seen people do this. Do not do this. This fork touches the raw chicken. This fork can go from here to here to here. That's it. Once you put the chicken in here, you need a different utensil. So I have now you can use this chicken to you can use this fork to flip the chicken while you're cooking it. But do not use that same fork to pull chicken out of the frying pan. I have seen people use the same fork for raw chicken and cooked chicken. Don't do it. You will hear me say it. Salmonella is a killer. All right, so my water's boiled. I'm going to drop my corn in there, pre-cooked corn. It's not even difficult. And these are almost done, and I've got my other ones breaded up and ready. I got 4 because I can fit 4 in there easily. And this is coming along quite nicely, y'all. My potatoes are done. Just letting them cool down a little bit. So I just added my new chicken tenders, and I'm going to bread them. And while I do that, I've got a message for Aubrey. Aubrey had posted, it's a bunch of numbers, don't worry, I'm going to tag you in the video, girl. She had mentioned in my other video that her dog had died yesterday and that she was sad, and she watched my videos and it cheered her up. And I have a story that will help you feel better. There's a children's book, you need to get it. It's called Doggy Heaven. When my dog died 10 years ago, it's a kid's book, but it helped me. Basically, the concept is God only picks the best dogs to go to Doggy Heaven. And when they go to Doggy Heaven, they're paired with kids on earth that didn't get to play. Like kids that spent their whole lives in a hospital bed. They're paired with them. And then they get the job of getting to play with that kid for the rest of their life. So, yes, I miss my Sydney still. But in my head, my little Sydney is with a little girl named Susan who has blonde braided pigtails. And every time I miss my Sydney, it's like, yes, I miss you, buddy, but she needed you more. All right, so my first batch is out. My second batch is in. I've got my last batch in there. My corn is in here. Now I have reduced the heat. I turned it completely off. It was at a rolling boil. I've reduced the heat. This corn is already pre-cooked. If it wasn't pre-cooked, I would have added it before I boiled the water, but since it is, I've added it later. Now that it's not as hot, here's how you make sweet, creamy Southern corn. You very slowly, on the edge of your pot, very slowly add milk until you see it come all the way up from the bottom. Wait, you're going to see it. It'll come all the way up. Just very, very slowly. You don't want to do it too fast or it'll scald. There we go. That's all you need. And then you're just going to, it's going to come all the way up. You're going to stir it. Add a quarter stick of butter if you want to. And then there you go. That's how you get sweet Southern creamy corn. Just like that. Not hard. So someone had asked me to do a more intensive video on the coronavirus. And it's not really the coronavirus that I worry about, but because I was raised Mormon, and one of the things that the Mormon people do is they prep. It's part of the religion because they believe that when Jesus Christ comes back and the second coming, not everybody, it's like, they're really, pretty rational about this, and they're like, there will be policy and procedures, and not everyone will go at the same time. And it could take up to 7 years for the rapture to actually happen. You're just going to be in limbo for 3 or 4 years while your paperwork goes through. So it was instilled in me very young. So one of the things that I've been doing every time I go to the store is I buy a thing of rice. It's 97 cents. You would be amazed at how long your family can survive on just fucking rice. And beans. Also something I buy tons of. It's so if somebody's sick, if there's quarantine, I don't have to go to the store.